How's it going, guys? It's a final render here, and I've got to say, this video which you guys are about to see has probably been the hardest build in Fallout 4 I've ever done. Not only has it been the hardest, but it's possibly been the longest one I've ever created, and it's also probably been the most confusing one for me to make. So, if you guys like this video, please give it a like, share it with your friends, make sure you leave a comment, and let me know if you enjoyed it or not, because it's been a big one. So, let's get on with it. So, for this episode of Fallout 4, Building with Mods, we're not going to be doing one of our lovely new creations like we normally have. We're not even going to be doing something from Fallout 3. In this case, we're going to go back to one of the best games in the series, Fallout New Vegas. This is the Lucky 38. The Lucky 38 was a pinnacle part of Fallout New Vegas. It was the main goal to get to in the first half of the game, and it was also where a lot of the stories converged, and it was where you kind of decide your main final faction, which would affect the entire Nevada desert. It's definitely going to be very tricky to make. Anything circular is very difficult to make in Fallout 4, but you know what? We're going to give it a try, and we're going to see what's happening. So, to start off with, we're going to need a solid foundation for this tower. Using alternate settlements, I'm going to use some nice wood foundations, and also, I'm going to be using the carpet tiles. As you guys know, I actually have said that these carpet tiles aren't very good in the past, but there must have been an update, because now, they're actually pretty darn super. You've got loads of carpet tiles which you can put onto the foundation, and they're really very nice. In fact, the one I've chosen actually is very close to the one that's in the actual Lucky 38, so I'm very happy with that. And as you can see, the place is already starting to take form, and to do the actual walls, I'm going to be using the wallpaper. Again, alternate settlements, I've said it's been no good, but now they seem to work well. Next, for the main casino floor, it is slightly lower than the floor I have already made, as you can see, but that's no problem. We can just add some little stairs down there, and now we've got a slightly lowered section, and then time to carpet the rest of it, really. And it is true that in the middle part, there actually is a slightly raised section in two places, and that's what we're going to be doing now. We're going to go in and select some of the key parts where the raised areas will be, and we're just going to raise those foundations in the command console. And then add some railings to all the edges of them, and we have actually got some raised areas inside the central area. And I spent a long time picking a new carpet, which I wanted to have for the main area. It's kind of a dark red patterned one, but unfortunately you don't really have anything like the pattern in the game, so I've just gone with this plain red one. And you know what? It is starting to look kind of like a cheesy casino already almost. Lots of flashy colours and very in your face. And now, I needed to make a little bar and a room area. There is a bar on the top floor of this middle area, and there is also a room underneath it. So this kind of doubles as two areas, actually. And I'm going to be using the alternate settlements to put down some wooden rails, and also some handrails over on the top so people don't fall out of the bar area. And also going to use this marble flooring instead of this horrible one which I picked originally. I do change the materials in this place quite a lot, because as I said, the actual kind of wall panels I can't get, so I've just got to pick ones which are as close as possible. And here I am working the wallpaper on all the top edges, but you'll see later on I do change it because I'm not actually too happy with the way it is. It doesn't actually mimic the Lucky 38 very well. But that's an important thing you've got to remember with doing these builds. You've got to be okay with changing your mind. And now, using craftable elevators, I'm going to give myself an elevator behind some elevator doors which will lead up to my penthouse suite. I will be adding many more elevators, in fact, because just by default these only go up 6 floors max, so I will add some more. And using build your own vault, I've got this metal panel which I'm going to use for the roof, and it does actually mimic the Lucky 38 roof quite well. Actually, it's roughly the same color and roughly the same texture, so I'm happy with that. And here we are inside the kind of main Lucky 38 area. Looks pretty good, but we need some security. So using Automatron Securitron, we are able to add some of the actual Securitron robots from Fallout New Vegas. They're actually not in Fallout 4. I don't actually think they're in Fallout 3 either now, think about it. But now, using this mod, we can actually add the proper robots to the game. So no pretending with a Protectron or something. We've got the actual ones. Very cool mod. And using just rugs and also using some other mods such as Renovated Furniture, we are able to make some nice little seating areas which are catering to the staff and also to the customers around the place, and they are just outside the bar and check-in area. And these sofas are pretty darn nice. You do get some nice tables and things as well, but I mostly decided to download it just for the sofas. I believe you also get these tables as well, which are nice. And the stools are in the vanilla game, so you can already have those, but they actually do match exactly the ones in the Lucky 38, those ones, so I'm very happy with that. And now, obviously, the Lucky 38 is a casino, and I need some slot machines. We don't have slot machines in Fallout 4, not yet anyway, so I decided to use computer terminals. They don't exactly look like them, I know, but you'll just have to use your imagination a little bit here, okay people? And again here, for the main area, where some of the blackjack tables are, don't have any blackjack tables in the game, so I've got some pool tables and shrunk them down a little bit. Sometimes when you're building these kind of big buildings, you just got to use your imagination a little bit and just kind of pretend it's the actual thing. You just got to tell yourself, it's not a pool table that I shrunk down with the command console, it's a blackjack table, and then everyone will believe you. Well, they won't, but it looks convincing enough anyway. And now I'm making one of the other bar areas of the place. There are 2 bar areas, but it was here I decided to actually change out a lot of the wallpaper because I realised the wooden panels on both the sections, not only is it wrong to match the Lucky 38, but it just doesn't look very nice. And this is as close as I can get to the Lucky 38 by having these huge red and black wall panels up there, and it looks kind of convincing. It does look a lot like the Lucky 38, but it's not quite right, but never mind. And now here I am actually making a brand new area. You may remember from my Megaton video, my Rivet City video, that Fallout 4 doesn't exactly scale correctly to the other games. It's true for New Vegas as well, so I ended up with a huge area with just nothing in it. So I actually put some more computer terminals in there, slot machines in there, and I also put some more billiard tables in there. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean billiard tables, I meant blackjack tables. Never mind. So to decorate the bar area, I'm going to use OCDecorator static loot to put up lots and lots of bottles, and it actually looks really nice when you start to add the huge amount of bottles. I put a lot of effort into decorating the lower section, and there's a huge number of bottles on these counters. It looks pretty nice. And now for the upper bar area, which is much longer than it is in the actual game in Fallout New Vegas, but you know what, again, use your imagination. Far more bottles up in this place, loads and loads of bottles so that people can go downstairs and do their gambling and then come up here, have a meal and have lots and lots to drink after they realise they've lost all their money. Well, you know, that's Vegas for you really, isn't it? And now here is a little change area which is underneath the bar. Do you remember I said the bar actually doubled as another room? That's what this room is. It's a staff only area. And it's basically where you will hand in your gun if you are coming into the casino, and it's also where you will exchange all of your money for poker chips, so that you'll actually be able to enter the casino and gamble all of your money away. But obviously, needs to be manned at all times, pretty important and secure place. And now to make the front desks, I've got some nice decorations, including things from Craftable DLC Paintings, and using the Wasteland Workshop, I have got the fantastic neon light signs, and I love these. I needed to have a sign which says check-in. There weren't any, so I made my own one. Pretty darn good. If anything, Wasteland Workshop is worth it just for these neon lights. But that being said, I'm sure someone will make a free version on the Nexus pretty soon. But you know what, for now, it's good enough. And using Ellie's craftable flower pots, I have got these lovely potted plants, and I swear these are the exact same ones that you get in New Vegas. They look exactly identical, which is perfect. And if you remember, the Lucky 38 had these huge kind of metal struts going around. I didn't have anything which matched that, so I got this giant statue of a globe, and I scaled it up loads, so I could just use the leg parts of the statue. It's so bizarre that it worked, but you know what, it actually works perfectly. It looks exactly like the Lucky 38. And now it's time to put up some lighting, because this place actually is pretty darn dark in the day. In fact, during the day, since there's no light sources, there aren't even any shadows. And using Settlement Objects Expansion Pack, I've got these fantastic spotlights. These spotlights go at all different angles, and they are really directional. So at night, you can really get some nice kind of theatrical lighting in your settlements. Look at this place. This place really does look like a cool casino to be in. It looks gorgeous, and it also kills the frame rate because of all the shadows it's got to render. But I don't mind, it looks glorious. And this is pretty much the entire first floor done. It's really crazy and busy down here. It really does kill the frame rate where you're in this place. There's just so much clutter, and I've said it before, having lots of clutter really will make your settlements come to life. But now it's time to tackle the upstairs penthouse. And this penthouse is very high, it is a huge tower, and I ended up using 3 Institute elevators for this, and that includes a total of 18 floors worth. So it's pretty darn high, as you can see, very high in fact, and it looks pretty impressive as it is, but I decided that I needed to actually fence all of this off so that I have an elevator shaft, so when you're riding in the elevator you won't see any of the kind of just walls which are hiding the place. And now it is time to start making the penthouse. Making the penthouse, I'm not gonna lie, was very confusing. Since we're so high up, you've just got no point of reference as to how tall things are. And not only that, but seeing as we've got a big elevator shaft in the middle that we've got to hide, it's really hard to just look around and kind of map the room out in your head. So, very difficult to make the penthouse, but naturally I've got to carry on with it. And I also decided that when I was going to do this, I wanted to try to maintain the circular floor as much as possible, but obviously turning squares into circles, not exactly easy. But luckily with these 45-degree angle floor panels we can now get, it actually does help a lot. I did plan on using just some of the circular floor panels, but unfortunately they're just too small. You can't really do anything feasible with them unless it's very small, and you'll see more of that later. But I think it starts to work out okay. Making some of the glass walls and also some of the ceilings now really does start to sell the place, and it really does start to kind of come together when you start to add those two things together, because the entire interesting thing about the penthouse is the huge glass walls around it. And when you come up here in the correct weather conditions at the correct time of day, it looks absolutely gorgeous up here. I definitely do think at some point I will make a big penthouse just covered in glass walls. Looks absolutely lovely. And now, using some of the stuff from the Crafting Fury GTX 9000, we have got these filled bookshelves for the sleeping area, along with a bed in the middle, just to kind of sell the place. It is how it looks in Lucky 38, and I think it works out quite well in Fallout 4. And there are a huge amount of clutter in the sleeping area, including 4 sets of sofas and lots of pot plants, and there's also some just kind of inert protectrons just lying around. They're not exactly functional, they're literally just statues in the game, so I added those as well. And also, we need of course the man himself, Mr. House. And of course, he's just a giant television screen. So, using some of the more new items I have got from the Objects Expanded, we have now got television screens. You may remember in my previous video when I did the Wasteland Workshop Arena, I said I wish there were television screens. So naturally you guys came and told me that there are new television screens in this mod, and I had to have them. They look really good, some of them are funny with like Windows 8 on them, and they are really nice objects, and I'm very glad they are now in Fallout 4. It definitely improves it in my opinion. And now really it's just about adding some of the extra clutter that's lying around really. Lots of shelving and just little things like that which are just scattered around the place. And the nice thing about the actual penthouse is that it is quite nicely decorated, but it is a very small amount of decorations. It's just decorations in the right place. There is a lot of empty space for you to walk around and enjoy. And of course, we also needed Jane. Jane was a Securitron who lived up here, I think that was her name anyway, and she just kind of rolled around the place. And luckily her face texture model is in the new mod as well. And here we go. Here is the penthouse suite of the Lucky 38. It is pretty nice. As I said, it is a bit bigger than what it would have been in Fallout 4, and it's not exactly circular, but it works out. And now it's time to make the exterior. Making the exterior was exceptionally difficult, people, and because of the assets I've actually got, it ends up looking more Fallout 4 than it does Fallout New Vegas. It does start to look a bit junk fancy after a while, I'm sure you'll see what I mean. And unfortunately, making anything at an angle in this game is pretty difficult. It is possible with mods, as you can see here, it is possible to rotate things to a certain degree, but to get them to work exactly the way they're meant to, it's pretty difficult. But then again, these assets were meant to be used in this way, so it doesn't surprise me if it's difficult, if I'm totally honest. And after I've got some of the walls to the correct angles, I needed to put some more flooring up here to make the ceiling, and using craftable letters and numbers, I am able to make a kind of junk version of the Lucky 38 sign. It is just simple, the word Lucky on the top, with 38 in the middle. I used a basketball hoop for that. And as you can see here, I'm trying to use some of the curved walls we have now got to kind of make the tower of the building, but I'm sure you'll agree that even when you scale them up to an appropriate size, yeah, it just looks a bit rubbish, really. It doesn't look natural at all. It really looks placed there. So I decided to go the Fallout 4 approach and use craftable tool walls and spacers, and this does add some really nice tall junk fences in there, which I'm able to use to build the tower, and it does start to give me better results, I think. But as I said, it took me a really long time to come up with this idea, and it was very, very difficult to make the exterior and make it look roughly right. As you can see, it's slowly getting there, but as I said, it does look very junk fencey. I put a huge statue on the top, which I scaled up to about size 10. As you can see, it's still loading with the draw distance, and it is starting to get there very slowly, but I do need to do some more work on some of the exterior of it, such as this right here. The Lucky 38 does have some junk fences just leading up to the main entrance, so using snappable junk fences, I'm able to get some of the vanilla junk fences, and I'm able to stack them where they are, leading up to the main door. And also I've got these giant 45-degree bars, which I've kind of angled off and scaled up to about 8 times to make it match the one in Fallout New Vegas. And using some of the more spotlights which I've got earlier, I am able to start to light the place up. It really does start to look pretty impressive at night, and you just need to add a huge amount of light, but only kind of light in the important areas of the building. I also went ahead and added the lights to the Penthouse suite. I was hoping you would be able to see these huge beams of light from the ground floor emanating from the roof, but unfortunately, draw distance is too small. Never mind. And in the Lucky 38 you have got these kind of light arrays going up the stairs which alternate going down in a pattern. So I've tried to kind of recreate that with the light boxes. By using the interval switches, I am able to make this kind of pattern of light boxes going up the stairs, so that as you go up the stairs the lights will go in a pattern as you go towards the door. Very touristy, very flashy, and it actually does work. And as a final touch to the place, the Lucky 38 has these giant spires coming out of the rooftop, I suppose just to make it look pretty from a distance. So I have actually added those shack supports there, and now I think the place is pretty much done. This is Fallout 4 junk version of Lucky 38. As I said, I'm not too happy with the exterior. I wish I had some assets which were closer to what they were in Fallout New Vegas as opposed to what they are in Fallout 4, but the inside I think is pretty spot on. I've put so much attention to detail into trying to make the place look exactly like the Lucky 38, and I think I've done it pretty well. I have had to add a few things, of course, but all the bottles that are there, they're in roughly the right place. All the counters are about the same length as well, and everything that was in the Lucky 38 is here, if I remember correctly. And a good thing about this build as well is that there are a lot of mods which I previously stopped using because they weren't working the correct way anymore, or because they weren't doing what they were supposed to, but they've been updated now, and you know what? I'm actually very happy I've reconsidered using them, because there are some fantastic mods which I'm now able to use, and some of them are spot on. The place looks gorgeous at night. It really does look great, and when you start to add these kind of pools of light just around the place, and also the neon lights, it looks really, really close to the Lucky 38. I hope you agree. And remember guys, if you enjoyed this video, you might also enjoy my Megaton and my Rivet City video. You guys have been asking me for a long time to do something from Fallout New Vegas, so here you are. I've gone and got possibly what is the hardest building challenge I've ever done, and I've given it a go. I hope you guys like it. So yeah, thanks very much for watching guys. This has been Final Render, and this has been Fallout 4 Building with Mods. If you liked this video, please remember to like, share it, because it took me a really long time to do this video. I'm not stressing that enough. You might also want to check out my previous video, which is when I used the Wasteland Workshop to create a battle arena. I think it's pretty darn cool, and as I said, you can go check out that huge TV, which I wanted, but couldn't actually do. So yeah, thanks very much for watching guys. We are very near 21,000 subscribers. That is absolutely incredible, people. 21,000 people. I don't even think I've met that many people, unless you've commented, in which case I have met you. So, thanks very much for watching guys. This has been the Final Render, and you have been the audience.